Going to go for two here.
He's going for two.
If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in the position to win.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it. That's just a heck of a play.
Going to go for two here. Go for two here.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it.
It's corn.
All right, guys, welcome in episode 35. Today we're presented by Toboggan Beer on Richmond. Make sure that you're ordering that stuff for delivery because we're locked down again. And while you're at it, get a Joe Cool's pizza or whatever their special is. Their wings are delicious. Make sure that we're supporting Toboggan and Joe Cool's because they've been really good to us. And now that they're in lockdown again, we need to make sure that we're getting as many people to their website as possible. Their links are all on our website, no problem. But let's move into, let's get right into the meat and potatoes of what we're going to talk about here because I had a whole bunch that I thought we were going to talk about as far as this March Madness final is going to go. Now, on Saturday night, I told you guys Baylor was going to run away with the game against Houston because Houston could not score with them. Now, that happened. And the Gonzaga-UCLA game was pretty crazy, a little bit of overtime, small little bank shot. Not sure if you heard it went in.
Little bank shot.
Yeah.
Yo, he didn't call it bank.
Insane. That was insane. What a crazy 5-second turn of events. That's college basketball right there, right?
Exactly. And then we're all hyped up. I mean, who starts a basketball game at 9:30 at night? Nobody knows, but we're all hyped up. Yesterday rolls around. I think, Baylor was up 50-0 at one point.
I don't
At least it felt like it.
I knew the game started at 9:30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
West Coast
they
time,
definitely.
so they just weren't ready.
I will admit, as a team and a coach that won a championship, and it was a conference championship that took us to a national semifinal. The best way I can describe it was like when we won, we were like at a different level. And we definitely blew our load too early. And I think that's what happened. They went too quick. It happens sometimes. They hit that half court shot, big explosion. Everybody was happy. Well, and then they got to the finals and they didn't show up. It's like they still had their hangover going. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, it was sloppy.
It was definitely
turning the ball over. They couldn't play defense. It looked slow.
Yeah.
And your tall, lanky guys that you picked, Caitlin, they won, and they actually looked like a better team.
Yeah. It was definitely two different teams. That first half Gonzaga team, and I would say the first half of the second half Gonzaga team were terrible. They were not very good. They were not together. The offense wasn't clicking. They were throwing the ball out of bounds more than they were passing to each other properly. But then that last half, like if Gonzaga had played the last half of the second half, like they had the rest of the game, it actually would have been a really enjoyable game, I think. But that first 10 minutes, 13 minutes, there was no way they could have recovered from that. It's crazy that they got as close as they did.
I went to bed with 8 minutes left in the second half. I said, fuck this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Did Baylor bring in their 7th, 8th, and 9th, 10th guys so they could play in the national championship?
With 1 minute left, yeah. No, with 1 minute.
Yeah,
or one or
yeah,
two
but I mean,
minutes
like
left,
not
yeah.
like any real kind of time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did Wade though? Okay, so I wasn't sure. I didn't know because I went to bed. So I did say they made it a bit closer, but I didn't know if they just brought all the backups and they got garbage time points.
Well, Gonzaga did the same thing, and Gonzaga's guys came out shooting. So I guess it's good to know that 5 years from now, Gonzaga's bench team is going to be their starters, and they're going to be better than the Baylor team. So
Dude,
maybe
they're going to own
rematch.
the YMCA though. Like, could you imagine those guys like when you show up to play some rec ball when you're 30?
Yeah.
And you see anybody else? And you see Timmy, the fucking playing power forward of the Y.
Was anybody else, whenever they said his name, thinking in your head that South Park, Timmy? The whole time. Oh my God. I really enjoyed watching Davian Mitchell though. I mean, is he ever going to actually be something in the NBA? I don't know if he will. He kind of reminds me of one of those kids that are, really, really good point guards in NCAA, and they really don't make a career out of it. But he was fun to watch, man. He is such a good talent out there on the field or on the court.
Yeah, I mean, the best NBA prospect in the game yesterday was Suggs. And he's 18 years old. He had scholarship offers from Alabama and Ohio State for football to be their quarterback, and he decided to go to Gonzaga to be.
Oh, I didn't
I
even
don't know.
know that.
He was one of the top players in the nation. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and
Wow,
Minnesota
that's
too. I
interesting.
mean,
I
Minnesota
did not
offered
know
him.
that little stat
Yeah,
line. That's cool.
he was Mr. Basketball
Wow.
and Mr. Football in the state of Minnesota for his senior year, and he decided that basketball was going to be his way, and he's going to be a one and done guy. He's probably going to be, I don't know, the third pick in the draft. So
Yeah, you can always tell who the guys are the one and done. They're the ones who are crying the hardest after the loss, right? Couldn't get that championship. If you stayed for 3 more years, you might have it, but you didn't want to done it, right? So.
Well, and he, he struggled at the first part, and I think that we're not going to say he cost the team the game.
But he got deep foul trouble 2 minutes into the game. They couldn't play him the first 10 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. When he did come back in, he started turning the ball over a little bit. It was a little messy, but I'll tell you one person that was happy at the end of that, and that was our boy Brody, fan of the show, and he won our pool. And don't call it a comeback. That guy was nowhere near the top of the leaderboard until the last week, and then he shot all the way up there. And so he got first. Actually, Kalen got second. I don't know if you guys saw. Kalen got second.
Yeah. I will never admit that. What a loser.
And then
when Jay told me today, I was like, I did not expect that at all. What a shocker to the system.
Only 2 guys picked Baylor, and you were one of them.
Yeah, and Cheryl got third, so I told her I was going to get her a shirt made that said, "I don't like coming first."
And we actually had a lot of people playing. It wasn't like we had 6 people or anything, right?
Yeah, no, there's like 23 people. So we're gonna we didn't play for money, so we're not going to send Brody an e-transfer later with his money. So don't be looking out for that.
Congratulations, Brody.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's a big deal. So, yeah, I mean, that's all squared up. I think that's about enough said. We'll see what college basketball looks like next November. But I would imagine there'll be a packed stadium. I think this was the biggest news of Monday, not even Baylor winning the national championship. Sam Darnold gets shipped to the Panthers.
That's crazy. I don't understand the move, except for the fact that, there's so much young talent on that team, and Sam Darnold's just so unproven.
Yeah.
So unless he's going into year 5, correct? His extension's already been signed with the Jets, right?
No, he's going to year 4. They picked up his 5th. They picked up his 5th.
Did they pick up the 5th?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have 2 years on him. So which means if you're bringing him in, you're not drafting a quarterback. I think now
you wouldn't think so. Yeah, you wouldn't think so.
Now is he a Band-Aid? Because he costs you nothing, and you can draft around him and see what you have.
18 million, nothing.
Pardon me, sorry.
The 5th-year option is going to cost Carolina roughly about 18 or 19 million.
There's a discount for a starting quarterback, though.
Yeah,
they're paying Teddy more than that. It's on the fucking bench.
Yeah, and also Joe Brady is handpicking Darno, so he actually must have some type of relationship with him. Like Joe Brady is the offensive coordinator for the Panthers.
Yep.
And he's the one that made this happen. Obviously, the GM and the front office are deciding compensation. But overall, I don't think that they got robbed. I mean, next year they're going to lose their 2nd and 3rd round pick, right? Or 2nd and 4th round pick. This year they're losing their 3rd.
If Darnold balls out, though, you're laughing.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking at like a 2nd round pick this year, so you're probably losing a starter. Okay. Next year in the 3rd round, you're probably losing what would hope to be turning into a starter. And then a 6th round pick. Player. You'd really, really have to smash on that. Most 6th round picks are out of the league in 3 years. So if they did it, I mean, if this is the guy and he makes it work there, and I don't think he's a bad quarterback by any means. I mean,
and he has a relationship with Robbie Anderson, who had his best years with Darnold.
Right.
Which people forget about, because Robbie Anderson was a bum. And he went to a Pro Bowl twice, I think, with Darnold.
Right. And he's going to be they're going to be looking at adding one of the top receivers, I think, at pick 7.
I think that wasn't Anderson leading the league in receiving yards until like week 7 or 8 this year?
I said he was a bum. I didn't say he is a bum. I said he was a bum. He had no love in college.
Yeah.
He had no love in college. He got in a lot of fucking shit. He got in shit in New York. They took a chance on him, took a flyer on him in Carolina. But the guy balled out, but he fell in the trap because of all the shit he did off the field.
Yeah.
But he had a great 2 years with Darnold, and that's why it made the Panthers bring him in.
And then the Panthers are only missing a quarterback. That is, I can think of the one thing that was holding the Panthers back. It was their offense, and it was just closing the drives. They could get yardage, but they just never close a drive out.
And Shane's been banging the drum for Darnold this whole time, but go to Pittsburgh to be the next guy.
You boys were both banging the drum for Teddy Bridgewater last year. You be banging it with his new team or what?
No, I
got no problem with Bridgewater still. Yeah, I still got no problem with that.
Unfortunately, it's just not going to work out now. They brought Sam in for a reason. Teddy's on his way out. And unfortunately, I don't know if Teddy's going to have a job in the league in a year.
Yeah, I think the Bridgewater injury when he was in Minnesota, I think it eliminated some of the elite speed that he had, which made him a threat. But if Carolina wants to run the type of offense that they're going to run, which is through Christian McCaffrey, they don't need Teddy Bridgewater. Like, he's not the guy. Like, they might as well pull Teddy Bridgewater down to Houston, because I'm sure Tyrod Taylor is going to get to training camp and be like, nope, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we'll see how it works out. I think that should solidify Carolina as the number 2 team in that division, in my opinion.
I think so.
I'm going to say New Orleans is losing by far the most amount of talent of any team in the NFL this year.
Well, they just lost a Hall of Fame quarterback who's playing at a Hall of Fame level.
Well, yeah, not just that. I mean, they had
everybody else. They're only a whole salary cap away from the salary cap.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they are probably borrowing. They're getting bailed out by the U.S. government on their salary cap just so that they can have a season next year.
Mickey Loomis is collecting CERB over there, or what?
Yeah,
or stimulus checks.
Honestly, he might have to. I mean, I don't want to make a disaster joke about New Orleans and the salary cap. We'll leave it at that.
Sometime the water just rises. He's got to float on by. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, that got out of hand quick. Now, another thing, and Kalen, I don't know, do you have DAZN or DAZN or whatever you want to call it? Okay, so they just uploaded all the Elite 11s from when it was Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields' year.
Okay.
And it's pretty interesting. Go back and watch it. Now, it's probably hard to believe, but Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields were the top 2 high school quarterbacks at the Elite 11. Now, did they finish that way? I'm not 100% sure. I haven't gone all the way through it. I bet you they do.
Can I spoil it?
Yeah, sure.
I won't spoil it for you. But
okay, cool.
One of the craziest part of the thing is they actually went to school 20 miles from each other in Georgia.
Yeah. And
so did they play against each other in high school then?
They didn't say.
Oh,
I don't think so. I think that they had different classes. I think that Justin Fields went to a 4A and Trevor Lawrence went to a 5A, or vice versa.
All I know is that Trevor Lawrence did not lose a game in 3 years of high school football.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Justin Fields almost didn't play quarterback in college because MLB teams wanted him to go play shortstop. Like he had a real shot. Like he probably could have been a dual. He probably could have been a dual sport athlete, but like the point that I'm making. So in high school, they were the top 2 players. In college, arguably they were the top 2 players. I'm going to say that they were. Now we're getting into the NFL draft, and they're likely, not for sure, but they could be the 1 and 2 pick in the draft. Now, can you think of another time that anything even close to this has happened?
It's crazy to see how they're so entwined with each other because they played each other twice the last 2 years.
Right.
And they went 1-1 or 1-1 against each other. Is that how it went down? No. Justin Fields didn't beat him, yeah. So
yeah,
because but yeah, like it's crazy to think like that's how it all went down, and their whole career's been like up against each other, and it sucked for the both of them that's how it's gonna be the rest of their career. Like since their senior year in high school, it's been like Trevor and Justin their whole way through. They both went to the 2 top programs in college, and they went against each other. They did play, yeah. Justin Fields did beat Clemson this year. So they went 1-1 against each other in college. And now they have the rest of their careers to go. And it's really cool because Trevor Lawrence is obviously going to be the number 1 pick if he isn't I don't know what I should do for my punishment. Because I've been saying that shit for years.
Yeah. Urban Meyer's going to resign if he's not the first overall pick.
Yeah.
For sure.
And outside of that, like, if there's a team in the AFC that's quarterback, Justin Fields falls to them, these guys are going to be battling for the next 10, 12 years of their fucking careers.
Right.
Always against each other. That's a pretty cool thing. And I don't think there's ever been that before. And
I can't think of anything like that.
No, I'm not like as far the way all the way back to high school and everything like that. I mean, there's always the 1 and the 2 is always compared against each other for their entire careers, right? I think in the NHL, you got Crosby and Ovechkin. They're always just compared against each other, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, and in junior, like if I guess they played each other in the World Juniors, right?
Yeah.
Ovechkin would have been on that team, but
yeah, we stomped them the fuck out that year, though.
Maybe something like that doesn't get the hype because there isn't the middle tier. Like you go from junior hockey right to the CHL.
Yeah.
But so if we're looking at those two guys as 1 and 2, and I'm going to ask you guys to rank your top 5 quarterbacks. We're not going to get too much into the draft because we got a few weeks to still do that kind of stuff. But of the 5 guys, like, do you think that there's going to be 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 5 or the top 10 picks, first of all? And how do you rank the 5 quarterbacks?
Okay, so obviously Trevor first. I think that
we also
Justin
agree
Fields,
Trevor Lawrence is number 1.
100%.
Okay.
If you disagree, then you might as well just hang up your phone.
Yeah. So I'm going Trevor, obviously, and then I'm going Justin Fields. I think I don't understand why there is even a question about who that number 2 is. One player produced incredibly well his whole career. One player got really hot near the end of this last season and had a pretty hot pro day. So I don't know why he's so subjective. And then Mac Jones, I don't understand how he's even getting hyped, man. I just don't like Alabama quarterbacks, period. I never really have. They never panned out. So I think I'd put him at 5.
Weren't you on your knees for Tua?
What? No, I think that Tua was the answer for Miami in the way that Miami wanted to play the game. But I never really thought that Tua was like the be all that ends all.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. No. Keep going. Keep filling your thing out.
So who did that leave me? Who did I not mention there?
So you got Trey Lance left, and you got Zach. Yeah.
So Zach is 3 and Trey is 4 for me with Mac Jones at number 5. Mac Jones knows how to hand the ball off really well and cheer defense on from the sidelines.
He did have 2 pretty good receivers with him as well. So I guess it depends on did he make the receiver, did the receivers make him? But do you think there's going to be 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 10?
No, because I don't think that Mac Jones is a first-round quarterback, and I don't think Trey Lance is a first-round quarterback. Yeah, wow. If I can be completely honest with you, I would say that Zach Wilson is probably a bottom half first-round quarterback, with the other 2 falling in round 2. I think that the quarterback position in the draft has been think back to the draft with Vince Young and Matt Leinart. Was there 5 quarterbacks every draft? I feel like the last few drafts, it's like there's 4 or 5. There's got to be 4 or 5 every draft. It just doesn't happen to be that way. Quarterbacks there's only a few that are generational talents, and Lawrence and Fields are definitely those 2 players right now, I think.
All right. Well, let's go to the quarterback coach.
I was gonna say you go first, Shane. Let me just end this one off. I want to go.
Okay. So I'm gonna say Trevor Lawrence for sure, and then we're going Zach Wilson, and then we're going Mac Jones, then it's Fields, and then it's Lance. And I'm not saying that that's how I would draft it if I was the GM. I'm just telling you, I think that's the way that it's going to get picked. I don't see Zach Wilson getting by the Jets, and Mac Jones already has his 49ers jersey printed in his house. So I also think that there is going to be 5 quarterbacks drafted in the top 10, and I'll elaborate on that when Chad's done with his.
So there's no secret here. I am the biggest Trevor Lawrence fan, lover. I'm pretty upset I didn't get invited to the draft party. I don't know why I'm not going to be at his house with him and his family. Kind of hurts.
Do you think you're going to be able to go to the wedding?
Honestly, I wouldn't object to his choices. I just want to be his friend. I just want to hang out with him for a day.
That's fair.
Number 2, and this is where I'm so conflicted. I have a hard time for what I told you guys a couple weeks ago about Zach Wilson. It has nothing to do with how
because he's a Josh, right?
Yeah, because What was it, Josh? Well, he went to Brigham Young.
Yeah.
I have a hard time drafting someone who's going to lead men who is a virgin. Skill set wise, will he be there? Yeah.
Oh boy.
But I just don't see. I think Justin Fields is going to the Jets. I do believe that. I think there's a lot of blown smoke about Zach Wilson. And I think I took the smoke when the 49ers made that trade. I think, I can't believe that I'm going to even say this. I think number 3 will be Zach Wilson, though, just for the talent alone. And then this where I'm really conflicted is the next pick is where it's going to be. Is it going to be Mac Jones or is it going to be Trey Lance? Trey Lance's body of work really bothers me. You didn't play against top tier defenses. You didn't play against top tier talent. And you're out of football for a year. I have a hard time taking you in front of a guy like Mac Jones. So, unfortunately for him, he's the odd man out. I can't, me as a coach, me as just a guy that loves football, been following his whole life, following quarterbacks, that year of football does things to you. He's going to lose the step. He's going to lose the speed. I don't care how many practice reps you take, how many times you've been down to IMG doing those things. That's not game speed. That's not real football. So I can't say Trey Lance. And honestly, I think Kyle Trask is the 5th guy gone. I don't think there's 5 and I don't think
You
there's
want
5.
to give a whistle for the things that I said, and he just said that. You don't want to whistle? Holy hell!
I was going to hear him out.
I don't think there'll be 5 in the first 10. I think after the first 3, 4, I think 5 and 6 drop off and they come back in the end of the first round. You don't have to give up a lot to come back into the first round anymore. And I think that's where those guys are going to go. I think there's 4 in the top 10. But outside of that, I think Lance and Trask, it could go either way. And I think that'll be 5 and 6.
Well, I think that Kyle Trask is going to get drafted on the 3rd day, probably somewhere in the 4th round. I mean, the Steelers would be a good landing spot if that's.
That sounds like wishful thinking.
But the other question that I wanted to ask you, because it's kind of related to everything we're talking about. So I think that the Falcons pick at 4, and their pick is well in play. I mean, somebody that wants a quarterback, if the Falcons are not in the quarterback market, needs to go up and get that pick because the hot 3 are going to be gone, depending on how you rank your guys. Now, if you're the Bengals, are you looking at a team like, I don't know, Denver or New England, who don't have proven starters that they've actually backed? If you were the Bengals, would you talk to New England right now and try and get?
Question.
I know. I like Drew Lock.
Question.
I'm asking you a question. What?
Okay, you already asked my question.
Yeah, no, I like Drew Lock. I think it'd be stupid for them to give up on him already, but Denver seems like they're in the quarterback market every single year. But what I'm saying is, if the Falcons let's say they flip their pick to Detroit, and Detroit goes up there to 4 to get Justin Fields or whoever's still there. If you're the Bengals, are you looking at the Patriots or Denver or, I don't know, Miami to come and take your pick so that you can, 1, gain a little value? Your roster sucks. And let's get these 5 guys off the board. I mean, I think that we're in a position that the top 5 picks could all be quarterbacks. I know you guys disagree, but if you were the Falcons GM or the Bengals GM, would you not be trying to shop this around, or do you think that one of these guys?
Out of those picks.
Yeah.
The Falcons aren't that bad of a football team. I don't think they are. You don't need a quarterback. You need pieces around that defense. You've been trying to solidify a pass rush for the last 3 years. You have not done it.
Yep.
I don't actually know if there's one in this draft, but if you can get out of that spot and build a defense around those things, I think that's what they have to do.
Right.
That offense can play football.
Yeah.
It's never been their problem. If you can get a couple defensive starters that can come in and bang, you might be all right. And as far as the Bengals go, they will only go as far as what's his name? Joe Burrow will take them. If you cannot keep him upright, he will not be there. And if you think that your tackle will be there and you can trade down a couple spots, I think that's what they have to do.
So the Falcons, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I feel that offensive line, garbage. They have a quarterback. You're right about that. And they've got a couple good receivers in Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones.
A couple good ones, yeah.
Yeah, their tight end situation isn't very good. Their running back room is pretty thin right now. And then on defense, they're fucking brutal. They are brutal on defense, man. There's just a couple pieces they need there. They need a ton of pieces. Now, trade out of that spot. Get out of there. And you got to trade back into the low 18, 19, 20 spot in order to really get a real kind of value out of that pick and pick up a lot of other picks with it. As far as the Bengals, like you mentioned, keeping Joe Burrow upright, there are two tackles in this draft that you have to consider taking. That's that one from Oregon, Sewell. I can't remember how to say Penny Sewell, and then that guy from Oklahoma State. I can't remember what his name is right now, but he's known as one of the most violent linemen in the NCAA. And
it's like Jackson or Johnson or something like that, right?
That's the one. That's the one,
yeah.
Jackson. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that is the type of you can get a pillar like that to cover Burrow's blind side. That is what you do immediately. You do not worry about trading down. That is a very top end tackle talent. I think Bengals stay put, but the Falcons need to pick up a lot of pieces, and they need cheap pieces because they have no cap room either.
Right. Well, I mean, all draft picks are like that, and I think it's going to be interesting to see. And if you want to continue to follow along with us, let's make sure that we're subscribing to the YouTube channel. And we definitely, our goal for this week is to get Chad's Instagram over 500 likes or 500 followers.
My personal one has that. Come on.
No. I mean, there's no secret that you run our Instagram for Going for Two. But
I'm the funniest guy in the show. I have to be the guy.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah.
But Liam, I hope your mic was turned on for that. That was amazing.
Liam just dunked on you. I think we need 14 followers. So this week we need to get 14 followers onto the IG. So while we're transitioning off of football, because pretty much if you want a roadmap of the next few episodes, we got a couple of really good guests coming on. And then we're pretty much going to dedicate the second half of April to the draft. So we're going to have lots of draft talk. But I do want to touch on some hockey for a second because we have the trade deadline coming up. And I think that a lot of what we're going to do later in the week is going to be trade deadline related-ish. But the Florida Panthers continue to stay hot. They're on fire. The Leafs seem like they're getting their feet back under them. That's good for them. Avalanche, same thing. I kind of thought that they were going to be one of the top teams in the league anyway going in. So it seems like they're figuring it out. But the team that I have the biggest concern about is Vancouver. Now, obviously, their entire roster has won 9. And I think their entire coaching staff, how is there even a plan to get these guys back on the ice? And when they get themselves back on the ice, how are they going to maneuver the schedule? And how does that impact the rest of the Northern Division?
I have one quick question to ask.
Okay.
Does anybody on the team's family have the 1-9?
I don't know.
Because if not, I want to know what strip club they're at. It's a valid question. Tennessee all got caught.
They knew they were going into lockdown again, so they had to get one more dance in.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if BC's in lockdown. I think it's just Ontario. But I mean,
it's gonna be pretty crazy the scheduling wise, though. I think I read somewhere that they're gonna have to that the North is gonna be 3 weeks late on their playoffs. Potentially, the fastest they can maybe make it is 10 or 13 days or something like that.
How do you gonna just forfeit those games?
That's what I'm saying. And if you do that, let's just say, I don't know how many games the Leafs and the Canucks have against each other anymore. It's got to be a few, though, right? Let's say the Leafs and Canucks can't make up any of those games. Do you penalize a guy like Austin Matthew in the Rocket Richard Trophy? It's not his fault.
You can't push the whole season back 13 games, 13 games.
That's
3
what I'm
weeks, man. That's what happens if you're telling the guys down in the South they can't play for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
That's not right to them.
In the Mighty Ducks, when only Charlie and Fulton came out, they had to forfeit the game. Ducks forfeit, Cardinals you win. I mean, if they can only skate out 2 guys, I think Gordon Bobet's got to call the game. We forfeit.
Great movie, by the way.
I just want.
Yeah.
I'm only wondering. Like, I guess it doesn't really matter for the Leafs because they're first in the division, and mostly they're going to run away with it here. But like any of the other teams that they're playing, where that would shuffle them in the standings in order to not have to travel.
How does that do with the 4th seed? Is that where it's going to really fuck it up, or?
Yeah, a little bit. And if they don't make up some of the games, they're going to go by winning percentage. And I don't know. I think that some of the teams are going to feel a little bit more penalized, like a team like Calgary or I try to think of the other team Montreal.
Ottawa?
Like Montreal had to sit out for a couple weeks, but I mean they're still finding a plan to get their games made up. It's just kind of where it's happening in the season for them. And I mean, I'm not saying that they should forfeit their season, but you should forfeit the games that you're impacting at this point, or the ones that you can't get yourself back in with. If, say, you got the Leafs coming in on like a Monday, Wednesday, if you can't squeeze another game in on that Tuesday, well, that's a forfeit.
Bring in the AHL affiliate. It's that simple. Do
Yeah.
they have one? They just bring the whole roster up.
I'm sure that they do. Yeah.
Like, these kids want their shot. Bring them all up.
Oh, go tap on any rink in BC, and I'm sure that they'll be able to get a couple beer league puckers.
Yeah. I miss my shot.
I'm sure that they will actually finish out the season. I don't doubt there'll be any forfeiting or anything like that. They're going to try and finish it out just like the NBA is going to try, just like the NFL is going to try, just to set a precedent, right?
The
NFL was able to do it. We got to be able to do it.
The NFL did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. What was the other thing I wanted to say? I saw this stat. I know we're off of NFL again, but I don't know if in Germany, the NFL this past season was 6 times higher ratings or something like that than the current NHL season is in Germany. So NFL is taking over Germany as well.
I'm not surprised.
Hockey. Well, I mean, it kind of is to me. Hockey's a very European and Eastern European type sport, but
it's
rugby
probably
is pretty
soccer
big.
than the NFL. Like NFL Europe flourished in Germany. That's where all those teams came from. Like, that's where the best teams were.
The Reign, right? I remember those guys were actually decent. They were the only good team in Madden back then.
That's
Wow, you played as NFL Europe in Madden?
You had to do random teams. Sometimes if you went random teams, you had to get the NFL Europe. So
it was like 66, all 3 categories.
Oh yeah.
Classic.
You ever seen a 50 speed run down the field on a fly?
Yeah. Just fucking the DB walking beside him.
Yeah.
That's fair. It's gonna look like us out on the field when we do our combine.
I thought they were sprinting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 3 refrigerators running down a track is what it's gonna look like.
Yeah. You put a fridge at the end of that 40 though. Oh boy, you guys are done. It's a fully stocked fridge. I'll stone cold that bitch at the end of the 40.
I'm 90% sure that none of us are going to win, and the best odds on cool bet is that someone's going to pull a hammy. It's more likely that someone pulls a hammy than somebody wins.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Is it hammy or an ACL?
I'm telling you right now, like in baseball, like my number one injury was always my calves, and I'm telling you, I'm going to pull a calf muscle. But I'm calling my shot right now. No matter how much water I drink, it's gonna feel like I got hit in the back of the leg with a baseball bat.
Yeah. Foot up in the chill. Need a beer.
Yeah, it's gonna get weird. Like
it's gonna be like Rocky in the end of the movie. Adrian.
I hope it's my left calf and not my right one, so that I can still drive home after. But we'll see. You know, we'll figure it out. We're still gonna do it. Why not? And while let's transition into baseball for a second, because I have a little bit of a hot take on baseball that a lot of people probably aren't going to like, especially Blue Jays fans, because, we tout everybody as the best prospect ever. And this is not a slight on the guy because he hit a home run tonight. I don't know if you guys are watching the Jays game.
Yeah, I just got on my phone, though. He hit a bomb, too.
So yeah, it has nothing to do with his batting ability or even his playing ability. But Bo Bichette does not have the long-term arm strength to play shortstop. So it is time to move him to second base. find some fillers at shortstop, let him settle into his natural position. Everything that he does, he has to step into it a little bit too much. He's coming across his body a little too hard. He caused at least 2 errors in the Yankee series. Vlad is not the type of first baseman that's going to be able to bail him out. So you have to decide which one of these guys is moving, and there's nowhere else to move Vlad. And I think that if you put Bichette at second and you had a combination of whatever that Spanish dude that Josh was saying was, and Simeon playing short for the next 2 years, and then
That's
it's
his
off.
name.
Yeah, it's not Seaman, Chad. You're correct. So if we had that and we had Austin Martin coming up, I think we'd be in good shape in a couple of years. But I don't know what you guys think of that.
How is Biggio's arm? Could he go anywhere else?
Biggio could play third. He's not. I don't think he has the range to play shortstop. It takes a special athlete to play shortstop because you have to be able to stop on a dime and launch it so far across the field.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain this to me as somebody who's not a huge baseball fan. You guys are more the baseball guys than I think I am. Shane, obviously, for number one for sure. So if I think of the big positions, the important positions, the sexy picks, I guess I would say, pitcher, shortstop, center field. Those are the ones that really got to do with a lot of movement, right? Or not movement, but the pitcher's got to be really obviously a pitcher. So when you said that a lot of Jays fans are going to be upset about the idea of having to move them to second, is it the idea that they're having to move their athletic, sexy shortstop to second, and they're going to have to find another one? Like it's going to be hard for them to find that incredible talent at shortstop? That's why they're going to be angry?
Exactly. Well, and they're not going to because we fall in love with not changing things. You know, you come up as one thing, it's so hard to change. I bet last year people were uncomfortable with Vlad moving from third to first, but it was the right move for him long term. Yeah. And it's because he didn't have the quickness. Now, the guy went and lost 45 pounds, and good on him, but
he's going to be a first baseman or a DH his whole career. That's simple.
Right. Like
it's simple things like that. Like as a non-huge baseball fan, why get up in arms moving from third to first? Your job is essentially the same with less movement, and you're going to get paid more because you're going to end up being a DH anyway.
Right. There's less overall strain on your body. Yeah, there's less overall strain on your body, and you end up having a little bit more energy to hit. Now, a guy like Bichette, he came up as a shortstop. He was part of that like core group that we're bringing up, and as Blue Jays fans in the American League East, we all think that if you have a shortstop that's coming up, he's going to be the next Derek Jeter. That's not a thing. Also, Derek Jeter wasn't that great defensively. So
our only 30 viewers in New York.
Let's just go ahead. Let's just go ahead and say anybody's fielding percentage can be that because you only get errors on the balls you can touch. Just so that we're clear on.
Shots at Mariano Rivera next.
No, Mariano, he's the Sandman. But
can we just talk about how good of a closer Derek Jeter was? Though that guy never got one case against him, and that guy did not sleep alone.
100%. 100%.
Never got married. Never girlfriended it up.
Yeah,
that guy used to send girls home with limos full of signed memorabilia.
So, I mean, if that guy,
tip my hat to the captain there on that one.
That guy needs to call Deshaun Watson, but we're not going to go. We're not going to go there. But that Deshaun thing is turning into a disaster. Like that guy's not going to be in the league, right? Like he's done. But
there's no way they can.
Yeah. When it comes to
the worst offense of that whole thing was his lawyer though, when he's like, I got 18 masseuses that said he was a great client, a wonderful person. One, you made him look like a sleazier person than he already did. And if your debate is that I have 18 people saying he didn't do it, there's 26 saying that he did. What one's more than the other, right?
Also, who goes to that many different massage therapists? I mean, why do you change?
You pick your masseuse, you stay there. Like Tom Brady's masseuse lives with him. Giselle knows what's up.
Yo, Deshaun Watson, this guy isn't loyal.
Seriously.
But whatever. We'll see what turns out with the Bichette thing. Next time you guys are watching a Jays game, like pay attention to it. When he steps into a throw, he's money. He's perfect. When he's off balance and has to throw, it's not necessarily not making it to first base, but it's generally on the lower half of the first baseman, and it might not be to the right side. And with an inexperienced first baseman like Vlad, the second you see the ball coming, you're going to stretch, when you shouldn't stretch until you know you can touch the ball. Anyway, we're not going to get into baseball practice at this point. Another thing I wanted to go off about for baseball is I was listening to a show, and they started talking. They started talking about baseball standings already. Now, let me just
stop.
There's
cut it off right
162.
there.
There's 162 games spread over 5 months. We are 4 days into the season, 5 days into the season. Get a life. Find something else to talk about. I mean, if you're talking about baseball standings and it's before June 1st, you are instantly getting unfollowed.
Yeah, it
instantly.
kind of reminds me of these people talking about like the Red Sox being off to the worst start at home to start a season in how many years? How many games are we into the season? Why does it
You
matter?
should jump more topics.
Yeah. Well,
that was the point. It was the point. I thought I would use shade as against them.
We'll get to the Red Sox worst start since 1948 a little later on.
But like
we're only how many games in though, Shane?
In August, and was it 15? The Jays had the run.
Yeah,
they were 4 games out of the playoff spot August 1st. They went to ALCS.
Yeah, and they won the division. I don't think they lost a game in September. It felt like.
I don't even think they did. I don't think they started the season that well.
No,
like they were supposed to be good that year, and they started the season poorly, and they still went to the ALCS. And we made moves and made it work, but like we're a week into baseball. Just calm the fuck down, people, please.
Right. Like on this show, I bow to you. Right hand is up. We will not talk about baseball standing ever. We will definitely just talk about hot topics in baseball and move on, and that's about it. Because really, baseball standings, as Chad was mentioning before, they don't matter until September because you still play 30 more games in September, and as long as you're not 30 games out of first, you're probably okay.
You're mathematically still in this, what you're saying?
Yeah. But if anybody's still with us, make sure that you order your Joe Cool's takeout because that is worth sponsoring. I would definitely check that out. And in the spirit of being at Joe Cool's, because we can't actually be there, I was thinking of like what some of our conversations would sound like at Joe Cool's. And a lot of our conversations would start off by saying, did you see? Or did you know? Or were you watching? So we're going to play a little Did You See? And then I'm going to give you guys some stuff. You tell me what we're thinking, and then we're moving forward. Now I'm going to start with this one because golf's coming up this weekend. Don't forget, we are making Masters picks a little later. Jordan Spieth won his first tournament since it was 2017, Chad?
17.
So his first tournament in almost 4 years. Did you see it, and what do you think of it?
So I watched it, and I watched Saturday. And I've watched the slow progression of Justin Spieth come back this year. And I thought he lost it. I'm the first to admit it. I thought he lost it. Kalen's laughing at me.
I'm getting a beer. I'm still
Justin.
Oh, Jordan, whatever. Same thing. Jordan Spieth.
Did I say Justin?
No,
I did.
Chad did.
Okay.
The worst part is, I actually have watched it because I watch golf every Sunday.
Classic.
And I kept thinking all years, is he coming back or can he not close? Watching him come out and actually like close on Sunday was amazing to see. And like I said, like golf needs that. They need that American hero. So him winning before the Masters is huge for his confidence. Now the problem is like to go back-to-back weeks in a row, that's tough. But he is
only our boy Corey Connors did that. He won the Texas Open, didn't he? Or the Texas Valparaiso, and then he went and won the Masters after. Is that how it worked?
I think so.
Asking the wrong guy, yeah.
I think that happened last year, didn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, sorry, Chad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
But yeah, so no, I'm just like I want to see if that's how it's going to go down, and I think he's on the up and up, and I think golf needs him.
Jeez, we're getting deep.
And so no, I think it's big news for him. I'm on the next topic. Kalen, you go.
Yo,
I love.
we should put a disclaimer on this for a sec. We should put a disclaimer on this. Chad worked all day and he warned us that he hadn't eaten dinner yet, so he has not slowed down on his beer drinking, but he also hasn't had any food consumption. So, Kalen, go ahead.
I love Spieth. He's a Texas boy, right? I thought it was really fun to watch him when him and Ricky and Rory were the young guns coming up and changing the game. And then he lost his game as fast as he lost his hairline. I think that.
Wow.
Well, it was the case.
That guy's never coming on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that he's done losing his hair, and I think he knows where he settled in. Like Chad has mentioned, the progression of getting that confidence back and seeing the old Jordan Spieth that I was used to seeing about 9 years ago or 8 years ago. He's back again, and it's going to be fun to see him go to. I don't think that the Texas is going to really do much for him at the Masters. I know he does well at the Masters, but that's just a different beast. So I don't know if he's going to pull the same game this week, but it was fun to see at Texas, though. It was fun to see him and see him talking after. He's a completely different person, man. This year has been special to him for sure.
Well, we'll see how it works. I mean, I don't put a whole lot of stock into it because he played against a field of nobodies. But
that's it.
If he goes out and wins the Masters or at least finishes in the top 10, sure,
we can say 600 on his last 10 holes, though.
Yeah.
Mm.
But if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to see it, like, did it actually happen?
It sounds like this. I watched the Simpsons. So it's like this.
Yeah. While we're sticking in Texas, why don't we say, did you guys see that there was 45,000 people at the Blue Jays game yesterday?
I love it.
Shoulder to shoulder, that there was no room anywhere. I even think there was people they had sold extra tickets to sit down the friggin' stairwells at some points.
I think that there was somebody sitting on the baseline.
There was so many people, man.
My favorite part of all of it is the overall outrage of Canadians thinking like how savage it is. But like what, like Sid 6-0, whatever. These people do not even live in your country. Just watch it. You don't have to have an opinion of what's going on in Texas. It's not like you're inviting these people over to your house after. They're not coming to you. They can't cross the border. I mean, we're stuck in our houses. The only reason that people are feeling this way is because they're jealous.
100%.
When you're jealous, you get like hateful, and that's all it is. It's embarrassing.
The comparison photos of Game 2 will be pretty fun to see the difference there.
I'm watching Game 2 right now. It looks like there's a couple people there still.
Yeah, a couple or 40,000.
Man, behind home plate, there's more people behind home plate than I have seen in 2 years. Like just sitting in like the little area behind home plate.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But that's what we do. We'll stick on baseball because we got two more baseball. Actually, most of this is baseball driven, actually. So we'll just keep talking baseball. As Kalen so eloquently brought up earlier, the Red Sox are off to their worst home start since 1948. Now, you could get emotional and react the way Kalen did and think that we're chirping on him, or think, wow, I must really cheer for a great franchise that has never lost 3 games to start their. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you're obviously reacting in a very emotional manner.
I'm reacting because you brought it up as a topic pre-show, and then 20 or 10 minutes ago had that question about talking standings, and then we're 5 games in. But
this isn't.
Did I see
this
it?
isn't standings. This is just a record. It's something that hasn't happened since 1948.
It's overreaction.
Well, it's yeah, and it's okay because we also don't have one of the highest salaries that we've had, or salary as a team that we've had in many, many years. So it's not like we have a good roster we're fielding or putting on the field anyway. We could take a few lumps this year. It's going to be a few more, to say the least.
Yeah, we're back to that like shitty old Red Sox team before they won the World Series again. So just think about it. Like in like 15 years, Jimmy Fallon's going to make another movie about the Red Sox winning the World Series. So hang tight, man. You're good.
What a great sports movie.
Yeah, it's honestly not bad. I actually like it. But we'll go on to the next thing, and I like this one. This one's going to be a hot debate, I think.
Woo!
Have you I know I showed it to Chad, but Kalen, have you seen what went on with the Reds and the Cardinals over the weekend?
I did not.
Well, let me give you the quick Coles notes, and then we'll send you the video after. But Nick Castellanos, do you know who that is? He used to play for the Tigers. Okay, so he hits a homer on, I believe it was Friday night, or Friday or Saturday night, doesn't matter. Flips his bat, acts like it's Game 7 World Series, runs around the bases.
What was it? Game 3?
Yeah, it was nothing. Stomps on the plate. This guy is the winner. The next game, first at bat, first pitch, wears one on the ribs. Now, like a world champion,
right? That's baseball.
Like a world champion, the guy goes out, grabs the ball from the middle of the field, and asks the pitcher if he wants it back. Which I think that's fantastic. But it doesn't stop there. So this guy's on first. He goes around. There's actually a scoring play where it's him coming from third home and the pitcher covering. And he slides. The pitcher has to dive for the ball, so he's laying on the ground. Castellanos gets up, stands over him, Juju over Burfict style, and just gives him the old flex, and bench is clear. So I ask, did you guys see this, and do you have a problem with it?
I don't have a problem with it. The problem I have is when the bench is clear, absolutely nothing happened.
Yeah.
If you're going to come out of your dugout and make this scene, I want to see punches thrown. If you're just come out of your bench to be on Sports Center, get the fuck back in your bench. You don't care about your guy. Your boy just got flexed on, and you came out like, hey, stop doing that. It's not nice. No.
Yeah.
If you're going to come out of your bench, I want to see shit going down. I want to see downtown Richmond Street, early 2002s. Like, that's what I want to see.
I want to give you one more piece of information that happened that I might have left out. After the game, Nick Castellanos said, yeah, I get it, but I still wanted to ask Yadier Molina for a signed jersey. And Yadier Molina was the catcher that grabbed him after everything went down. So
that's awesome.
I honestly think that if I was to buy a baseball jersey, it'd be a Castellanos jersey.
Yeah, I did not see it. I do not have a problem with it. The only thing that would have been better is after he slid in, instead of flexing, was to go and grab the ball the second time you walk into the pitcher. You want this?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. And another wild story. So, kid from Detroit, he gets picked up in the Rule 5 draft from the Giants, I believe. I don't know. I don't have that in front of me. But his first 8 at bats, 8 hits. Wow. Did you guys see that? Yeah, pretty wild.
Oh, good for
I don't
him.
even know about this. He told me this until this afternoon.
Yeah, and he's actually been hot. Like, he's still on the Tigers roster. I mean, he's I forget where he's from. Anyway, like, he's been a pretty good story. I mean, he's gonna fizzle out. He's gonna be nothing. And Dream's gonna kill us for not knowing his name. But I saw a picture of Dream with hair today, and I knew hair who this. So. But
that's a great photo, by the way.
Yeah.
For me and him is unreal.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty unreal. But it's just a cool story, I think.
Yeah, that is really cool. I wonder how many. What's the record for like to start a career with consecutive hits?
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
8.
He has the record? Fuck off!
Well,
really?
He tied the record from the 1940s. There's a lot of stuff happening from the 1940s in 2021 here.
Wow. When does he play again?
Much like that Red Sox thing. What's that?
When does he play again? When are the Tigers playing again?
I think they played today.
Shit, I wonder if he. Might
Yeah,
actually
I mean,
watch.
he's gotten out since, so like his record stopped at 8, but his first 8 at bats were his first 8 at bats.
Whatever, that's tight. That's awesome, man. Good for him.
Now, another baseball story. It's one that we've kind of talked about a lot with the San Diego Padres. Our guy, Fernando Tatis Jr., has ripped his shoulder out of the socket by swinging too hard. Now, do you have a problem with the fact that San Diego gave this guy all this money when his MLB equivalent doesn't even equal a full season yet? He's played 143 games.
Yeah, I have a problem with that. Now, Shane, you're the baseball player, okay? I would assume that the baseball swing is similar to golf and hockey in the sense that if you're flexing during your swing, you're hurting yourself. You should be kind of like a wet noodle and letting the bat do the work, right?
Correct.
So how in the hell does this happen with a player that he outswings himself like that?
Well,
You know what I mean?
Like
Bo
a lot
Jackson
of
ran out of his hip.
a lot of guys they're swinging so hard, and if you're not following through with both hands, you could just be following through with this hand, and all that pressure, you're just ranking it all off to one hand. But if I had to guess, I would say it's an injury that's been ongoing that just kind of snapped on that play from the torque in his hands. But he probably uses too much stickum, and he releases his hand too early, which is putting too much tension on his shoulder.
I guess the only good news is that it's not his throwing shoulder, so defensively it's not going to hurt him too much.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like if you're always letting go of the bat, like this would be your throwing hand. If you're always letting go of the bat, like it's just a whole bunch of this, right?
Yeah.
And if the guy's probably swinging a 34-ounce bat, so if you swing it as fast as you can and you're always doing that, like that hurt me. I just did it once.
And we're gonna do a combine soon.
Oh man, when the gyms are closed, like it's gonna be a dumpster fire. I already told you guys. I think it's more likely that one of us pulls a muscle than actually wins.
We're just giving out hamstrings, eh? Just like Oprah.
Yeah.
Put out prizes on our show.
I have a calf for a hamstring. Like it's terrible. But last thing that I saw in here, and then we're gonna make some Masters picks, and then we'll get out of here. And this is gonna affect you too, Kalen, because both these guys were on your team last year. But Kyle Palmieri and Taylor Hall are both being held out of lineups because they don't want them to get hurt so that they can trade them. Did you see that, and what do you think of it? I mean, I guess Palmieri, he's still in the Devils, right?
Yeah, so the beat reporters are reporting that they are still in talks to try and negotiate a contract extension. And if that's falling through, or and there's a trade offer that comes through, then they're going to trade him away. I think it's time. He's 29. The guy deserves to win somewhere. He's only got 8 goals this year, so go chase it somewhere. Just like Coleman last year when he got traded to Tampa. No hard feelings there. Get on, get your cup. I do not understand why Taylor Hall's name is in this at all, man. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, exactly.
There is none. There is none. He hasn't had upside in 4.5 years.
But you get him for nothing now. You get him for nothing, and you get upside.
At $6 million, I guess you're only getting him on is it a 2-year or 1-year deal? I think it's a 2-year deal too.
But
you can park him on your third line.
All right, player, you're laughing.
Yeah, you can park him on your third line and move on. I mean, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
He still won a
Who
Hart
pulls in more
Trophy,
trade?
that's still on his resume. That's what it comes down to.
Who pulls in more trade value, Palmieri or Taylor Hall?
Taylor Hall for the upside. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Their upside is so high, and it's a short season and playoffs only.
I'm just gonna
that's all you're
say,
gonna get him for.
yeah, I'm gonna take the easy answer and say whichever one gets traded second.
Oh,
because
yeah. Well, I know it doesn't sound like it sounds like I'm harping on Hall, but I think Palmieri did wait because he plays PK, power play, and he was playing in the first and the second line with us. So I think he just brings in more than what Taylor Hall does. He's not playing the penalty kill, and Taylor Hall doesn't play the point on the power play either. So.
Right. Well, I mean, if I was a GM right now, I would be trying to bring people in now so that you don't have to wait the 7 days after the trade deadline. You can just kind of figure it out. Because there is going to be some kind of like even an in-state quarantine rule, I'm sure. But if you're waiting to the last second and you know you need a piece, you just tend to overpay for it, right? Like you always overpay for what you need when it's not available.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But let's move on to the last piece here because we're talking about a little bit of Masters. So I texted you guys yesterday and said, make sure you bring a Masters pick. So I hope you guys brought a Masters pick. Now, I know Chad might throw together a little contest for the Masters, so he will send it out to people if we get it together. But I do want to say who I'm picking for the Masters, but which order do you want to go? Like Kalen finished second in the bracket. He finished above us. So should we let Kalen go first?
Why not?
All right. I pick my golfers like I pick my Tennessee Titans. My homer pick is always going to be Rory McIlroy. So I'm cheering for Roars.
All right, well, I'm going with DeChambeau as a long ball, and that's my guy. That's all. Makes me happy. That's all it is.
All right, well,
Bryson makes me happy.
I
Oh man.
I'm gonna go for Dustin Johnson,
Ooh,
And,
DJ.
and I think that like value wise, like, and you guys didn't give your plus minuses or whatever, but he's a plus 1250 right now on CoolBet, so I think that's just easy to throw a couple bucks on that and see what comes out of it. But that guy looks like he's lining up in the right shape.
Yeah,
I was
lining up already.
yeah. Yeah, there's some dark horses out like John Rahm. I think that he's got a shot, but we'll see how it works out. But anyway, boys, appreciate it. Cheers. Let's pick up later this week, and we'll see how we're doing. And make sure you stretch out those muscles, because this combine thing's coming up quick.